This is my Hydro Flask, and this is my iPhone. This is how I measured the height, and this is how I measured the diameter, and this is how I measured the dimensions of my phone. It was really hard. To find the average density of my Hydro Flask, I did 3 trials of finding the mass and the volume. Now, I didn't have a sensitive enough scale to find the mass of my Hydro Flask, but online there were many different values for the mass of my Hydro Flask. The first value for the mass I found was 15.2 ounces, and I converted that into grams, getting 430.9 grams. To find the volume, I measured the height of the Hydro Flask as well as the large diameter, which was capital R, for the radius, and divided that by 2. And then I found the smaller diameter, which wasn't including the edge of the opening of my Hydro Flask, divide that by 2, and got the small radius. So I took the measurements for mass and converted that into grams 2 more times for a total of 3 trials, and the same thing for volume for a total of 3 trials. And then I averaged the mass values out and the volume values out, and then I divided the mass divided by the volume to get an average density of 5.9359 plus the uncertainty of density. Now, to find the uncertainty in density, we are going to have to do the square root of the derivative of m times the uncertainty in m squared plus the derivative of v times the uncertainty in v squared. And the sum of those values, we take the square root to find the uncertainty in density. And once I did that, I got the uncertainty being 0.004. So our average density for my Hydro Flask was 5.936 plus or minus 0.004 grams per milliliter. Now I did the same calculations for my iPhone 8 Plus. I got the mass on the Apple website, and it said that the iPhone 8 Plus was 7.13 ounces, and that was the only measurement of weight that I found online. So I converted that into grams to get 202.13 grams for an iPhone 8 Plus. For the volume of my iPhone, I measured the length, width, and height, and calculated those, multiplied those together to get a volume of 67.99 milliliters. It's also important to note that I measured with a ruler using centimeters, and once I did the calculations, the units were cubic centimeters, which is equal to 1 milliliter. For 2 other trials, the mass remained the same because that's the standard weight of an iPhone 8 Plus, but the volume changed, so the average mass for the iPhone 8 Plus is 202.13 grams, and the average volume is 67.41 milliliters. So then I averaged those, or I took those averages and divided mass divided by volume to get the average density as 2.99851 plus the uncertainty of density. I used the same equation as I did for the uncertainty of density for the Hydro Flask, using the derivatives of the mass and volume, and I got the uncertainty of density equaling 0.005. So the average density of the iPhone 8 Plus is 2.9985 plus or minus 0.0005 grams per milliliter. To compare whether or not these average densities are the same, I graphed them on Excel with their respective error bars, and if their error bars were to overlap in any way, then that would mean that they are not different. But since these error bars are very, very small and they show no overlap, we can deduce that the average density of my Hydro Flask and my iPhone 8 Plus are not the same.